Carlo. How you doing, mate?
I'm okay. I'm very tired because I'm working in Naples. It's very, very hot. I'm
Oh
doing the
God.
new Paolo Sorrentino film. It's
Oh
very
yeah.
hot. Yeah, yeah. It's very hard and
I,
it's unbelievably hot. And we're working a lot, I'm telling you. Too much.
I could imagine. Yeah, I've never been to Naples, but yeah, I could imagine how warm it really is. Well,
No,
let's get on
because
to the questions.
yeah, because we work in a special place and it's so hot, it's impossible to put air conditioning. It's very, 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 very difficult, but it's very good because I'm happy to work with Paolo. And so it's very hard, but I'm happy.
Yeah, well, I'm definitely excited to check out this movie now. If you're going through all this hard work, so I'm really excited to watch it. Anyway, let's jump on to the questions. What
Okay.
was it that drew you to the Last Voyage of Demeter in the first place?
Sorry, guys, just a minute because I have my connection. It's a little bit. Can you repeat? Just a minute. Yeah. Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you just fine.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Good. So
Uh,
tell me again.
what was it that drew you to the movie The Last Voyage of Demeter in the first place?
In the first place, so it's I got the script and I was really enthusiastic about it, and I found it's very interesting because this atmosphere was very interesting, and I thought immediately that it was nice to design the costume also, even if it sets in a boat, but it's unbelievable because even if you see just few characters there, it was a lot of work because each of them have so many doubles and triples, and and for the stunt and for the fire, for the burn, and so it was a big challenge, and also to describe the atmosphere that was in the script. So because except the boat, we had the Varna scenes, like the Varna scenes that was this important port that was a big point to exchange the commerce in Bulgaria, and I love the idea to describe this situation that was the exchange and the mix of the ethnic people. So we were studying who was there at the beginning of the film. So, and to tell the story, where the story starts, it starts from a big mix of people, and Turkish and Bulgarian and Greek, and and I was lucky because in my collection, the fact that I've been many times to shoot in Bulgaria, in Romania, so I had many books that was telling me the story of these people. So, and I was lucky that instead to go on internet where everybody they go to research, I had already many books that I bought during my trips in these countries. So, and I said, you see that to spend the money and buy the book, it's very important. It's very important. Sometimes you say, you can find everything in internet. No, I was lucky because in all my life, I went to buy some special books about costumes that I could have now the easy to find the research, to research the stuff and to know exactly what was in that period. Even if, our story is a bit timeless, because it's a dark gothic, and it could be in each period. We don't need to be exactly in the period that was described from the Bram Stoker's novel. And so it was interesting to have this mix and to start with Andre to understand the way that we have to go through to start the film. And after, of course, we go to the boat, that everything, so it's going to happen many things, as you know. And it was interesting to describe the different people that there were in this boat. even if Andre, the director, he asked me to do not describe too much the ethnicity of each of them, but it was just in some detail. For example, just the difference of the boots. So the Russian guy has boots instead to have shoes. The Romanian guy has a particular bed. So it's just in the detail that we can discover when, from where these people they are coming from.
Yeah, well, going on to the point about you trying to diversify the cast by not going too deep into their cultural backgrounds, was that the biggest challenge on set for you in terms of your role on set on The Last Voyage of Demeter?
Yeah, the big challenge was to go more deeper in the character, because you know that anyway they are coming from different countries, and even if we didn't describe, though I went to the little details to understand where they were coming from and where their culture they're coming from. You know, there is a big difference from one from another. Anna is from Romania, and we have the other guys that are coming from Russia, and they're coming. So, and the big challenge was to make the costume in that sense, because everything was the fabric that were made for the film. And for example, the sweater, we did all the sweater by hand, like they were in that period. And also the coat that we made was exactly what they were wearing at that period. That was like a linen covered with wax. So each costume was made with this intention to make the reality anyway, even if the story is, you know, is an iconic story, is an unforgettable story that all of us we know. It's so strange, but in all over the world they know who is Dracula. That's the thing. So it's so strange. Now it looks like that it's a story like from Shakespeare, like Romeo and Juliet, that everybody know what they do, but in all over the world they know who is Dracula. and and that was the the challenge to describe this atmosphere in the boat. I have to tell you the truth. I didn't see the film yet, so I cannot say. Yeah, I cannot say sincerely what I can think about the film, but I'm sure of what I saw when we were shooting. The atmosphere when we're looking at the shot when I was on set, I could understand that was a really, really, this gothic atmosphere. It was amazing. Yeah.
Yeah, well, definitely. I've seen the film, and your work definitely accentuates the gothic and tense atmosphere on the film. So, congratulations on that. It really works, at least
Oh,
on my point
thank
of view.
you.
Throughout
Thank
your filmography, you've previously worked on other vampire movies. Is that correct? You've been on Van Helsing,
Yeah.
Abraham Lincoln Vampire Hunter, two
Yeah.
of my favorite films of all time. What is it about vampire movies that keep drawing you back into that subgenre?
Yeah, it's uh, when you start to do a film that has such history behind, you have to find a new way to tell this story. And of course that depends a lot of the script, because there are the different point of view. There is a big point of view, and I had to follow the point of view of our director. So of our director, of sometime it was very difficult to understand, because, for example, I think that in the boat that everything was so dark. So when when I watched the screen test, I was thinking, oh my God, probably I have to make some correction, because otherwise we cannot see in the boat. So I was trying to to help the character and to age them in certain way that you can discover, even if it was so dark and in the night, that of course was the right atmosphere, you know, because at that time they didn't know, they didn't have the electricity. So, but, and the DOP was right, because to represent this atmosphere, he had to use the real candle, you know what I mean? It was the real light of the time. And in fact, you know, I had like 15 people aging the costume. So, and it was very important that in each costume you can see what the sun made on these people working when it was the daylight, what the sea was making on them. So, you know, everything, all this specific the specific way of the sun, of the sea, so the mix of the white of the sea, the yellow from the sun. So we were trying to give them like a sculpture in the film. Also the costume, they were made like a sculpture. So to keep the light like in the reality. So you know that on the shoulder, that everything will be so burned from the sun, or of course on the sleeves when you are working. The fact that you're working a lot with the water, the seawater, that will be salt on the sleeves. So we were taking care a lot of this detail, so to make them as real as possible.
Yeah, well, definitely. Speaking of your vampire movies that you've helped create, that make come to life with the costumes, Van Helsing, Abraham Lincoln, and now Voyage of Demeter, which one to you posed the most challenges?
But you know, I think that each movie has you know, a particular challenge. You know what I mean? For example, in this one, our vampire, our Dracula, it's completely different from the other ones, because at the end we see that the fact that he has to be, you know, like is a bit. Like he has to be inside the other people. So, and he's like an elegant man in London, you know. So he has to be how can you say, not in disguise, let's say. Yeah, he has to be like in disguise with the people.
Yes.
So,
Yeah.
so when we, and I had a lot of fun to fit him when we did because this long figure, and but to make him like the others and so elegant, and so that we didn't have to realize that he was coming from another world. So the interesting fact that this has to mix with the other people in London. So he has the top hat, he has this kind of course it's particular because I did it in a very special color, that is dark violet. He has the gloves that are dark violet. But it was interesting to see him that is in disguise with all the other people in London, and it's so elegant, like London at that time. So it's completely different. You know what I mean? It's very particular. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, speaking of the movie's ending, I mean, I can assume that there's a second one. Is there any talks that the series is going to continue, or was this just a one and done? Are you coming back to the Voyage of Demeter at any point in the future?
I don't know. I don't know what will happen.
You don't know. But if you do, are there any ways that you'd love to elevate Dracula's costumes? Like in Bram Stoker's Dracula, he has this elegant red robe that just looks stunning. Are there ways in which, similar to that, you'd like to elevate Dracula's aesthetic?
But you know, it depends. It's so strange that you know, it's so strange to imagine something different, because it depends always of the atmosphere. So the Dracula can have so many different faces, you know. So we don't know really who Dracula was. I have to tell you, And we know Dracula from the Bram Stoker story, but I was very surprised when I was in Romania. I went to visit the Dracula castle, because there are so many different stories about Dracula. And when I went to see the Dracula castle, and Dracula is described like a nobleman in the 16th century, and to see the picture, so I was really inspired about to watch the paint that are representing Dracula. I said, oh my God, Dracula was already existing in the 16th century. And after I discovered that it was earlier than that century. So it looks like it was the 14th century that the story of Dracula started. And, so the best thing would be to mix all these kind of different look, in case I have to do it again, to have a mix of this different period. Because Dracula is, this iconic figure could be represented in so many different things. And I think the best thing would be to mix all the centuries together and to say, this Dracula is existing for many, many, many years. And probably he can have a glove from the 16th century, he can have a hat from the 18th century, or he can have the description that the Bram Stoker said in the novel. It will be fantastic. So I think that the best Dracula would be directed from Federico Fellini.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely.
I'm so sorry that Fellini is that. Because, I worked with Fellini, so I could imagine it was the last film I was assisting when I was very young. And
yeah.
And Fellini was always having wonderful idea about the historical character, in not only in the film but also from the literature, from the other novels. So, and I was young, but I was so. It's still in my heart what he was saying about Napoleon, about the emperor in Rome, about Julius Caesar, and he had so wonderful idea. So when we had a dinner and we were together, and he was telling me, I would like to do a film about Julius Caesar, because I think that Julius Caesar was like that, Napoleon was like that. So I think that the best would be to see Fellini, or Fellini when he did Satyricon, that was all the Roman history, and when he was imagining all these emperor and the queens, so he had this wonderful vision. So I think that Fellini could do the next film of Dracula.
Yeah, well, definitely. Well, we'd love to see that. Definitely, we'd love to see you return to the Demeter franchise. I loved the costume design in the film. It's been such an absolute pleasure talking to you, Carlo. I've had a fantastic time talking about the costumes in the movie. I hope you have a fantastic rest of the day, and I hope that you do get to see this film and see your work on screen soon.
In Italy will come out tomorrow.
Yes. I think
in Italy is coming out tomorrow.
I'm in England, so I think it'll be on Friday. It's coming out, but I've seen it. Hence why we're doing this interview. But
I can't wait to see it. Yeah, I can't wait.
Yeah, definitely. Your work really shines through, and I absolutely adored the movie. I adored your work, and I've had a truly fantastic talk with you. Have an amazing rest of your day, Carlo.